Well, welcome to this first ever open forum. Ron and I are going to be discussing a couple of issues today. One is the events in Family Search and the proposed LDS events that we are proposing for the Taylor Family Association. The other thing we're going to talk about is the current release, which is this case is 8.501 or something like that, and the ability now to sync sources from Family Search into Legacy Family Tree. There are a few issues with some of the sources that you can bring over that we wanted to talk about today. Perhaps they will be fixed in the future, but right now we need to talk about them and alert you to some of those issues. So with that, Ron, let's talk about the concept of the LDS events that we'd proposed. Go ahead.
Okay, well, there's quite a few events that are just LDS related, and of course some of our people are not members of the church and they're not interested in those events. So that's one of the main reasons why we want to be able to separate them out, so that if somebody doesn't want to see the LDS events, they can just simply turn those off. Anyway, there's a series of them. One of the major ones that almost everybody that does genealogy on a computer makes a mistake on is an LDS blessing. An LDS blessing is not a christening. So the field that's on the regular legacy screen that's designed for christening should not be used to store an LDS blessing. There's a better place for that, and we're going to show you the events for that. So let's
why don't we bring up, if you would, a year or so ago we did a hangout, and you can see it called TFA number 3, and it's about rules for adding information to Legacy Family Tree.
Yeah, let me bring that. I'll put that on screen as we talk.
And in the bottom of that, there is a handout in Google Docs, and the bottom of that has a group of LDS events. So we maybe need to refine that. We'll talk about that a bit today, and then talk about this point that Ron was just bringing up about the blessing. So, Ron, if you want to bring that up, yeah.
Yeah, I've got that on screen right now. This document is called the TFA number 3 Legacy Family Tree Database Rules, and it's a list of rules that we would like to try to adhere to as we try to collaborate with one another, so that everybody understands what we're doing with these various things. This point number 10 is the one that Gordon was talking about, that has a list of some of the LDS events that we've found in various files that have been sent to us. There's a lot of them that are redundant, and so we'll probably want to clean that up and make it so that they're all nice and clean, and only one thing refers to one type of event instead of several things.
So as we talk today, Ron, about combining some of these things, I'm going to make notes, and then then we can make some changes to this document as we're working, maybe. Okay.
Yeah. Let me show you in the main database what I'm talking about. So if I open up the main database here, and I go to View, Master List, under Event Definition, this is a list of all of the types of events that you might have in your database. And if you scroll down to the LDS, you'll start to see all these events that are related to LDS events. And what I've done
It's a little small on our screen right there, Ron.
Let me go full screen on that one. There you go.
Got it. Now I can read it.
Okay, so what I've done is put the LDS on the front of each one of these definitions so that they all show up together in the list instead of being scattered all over the place. So instead of looking for mission, you look for LDS mission. Instead of looking for ordained a deacon, you look for LDS ordained a deacon, and so forth. So there's a lot of them in here, and that's because these have been submitted by various family members. There's several things that I can see right off the bat that could be simplified. For example, we don't have to have an event called LDS Stake President. That's a simple ordination.
Yes.
Where somebody's ordained or set apart, there's a set apart. Then in that event, you define what the office is that they were set apart as. You don't have to have a separate event for each one. All you need is the set apart. Same thing with, there's a temple president. Again, that's a setting apart. Or
temple ordinance worker.
Yeah, same thing for ordinance workers, any of those kind of things. Temple worker, any of those things. We don't really record a temple recommend as an event, but I imagine somebody has, or else it wouldn't be in this table. Ordained an elder, ordained a high priest, ordained a priest, ordained a teacher, ordained a deacon. All of those are simply an LDS ordination, and then you stipulate in the event what the office is that they were ordained to. So yes. We only need one ordination.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, another one is ordination and conferral of Melchizedek priesthood. Everyone that is a member of the church knows that the priesthood is conferred at the time that they're ordained to an office in the Melchizedek priesthood. Same thing with, if we go up here further, we'll see another one. There's LDS Aaronic priesthood conferred. That's done the same time that they're ordained to an office in the Aaronic priesthood. So it's whatever their first office in the Aaronic priesthood was, at that point in time, they were also conferred the Aaronic priesthood. There's no reason to have it separate. No reason to have LDS Aaronic ordination as separate. Anyway, I think you get the gist of what I'm talking about. There's too many redundancies in this table. Here's another real obvious one. LDS calling and LDS callings and LDS church callings. Those are all the same thing.
Right. Well, so, Ron, if we combine the, are we going to have to work on the records as well?
Probably not. Now, one of the beautiful things about the way Legacy wrote their program is they're treating all of the various tables the same way. So whether we're talking about the surname table or the event definitions table or the locations table, they're all handled the same way. So let's take a look at these LDS callings, for example. Here's this first one. We can say, show me a list. There's two people. Looks like Gordon and his wife. Two people on there that have an LDS calling. And then under LDS callings with a plural, say show list on that one. Both of you guys are on that one also. And then on
fix that.
LDS church callings, this one has quite a few entries on it. That one, if you look at the very top, it says there's 30 of them on that one. So interesting that LDS church callings has a lot more. What we can do is use the same method for combining these as we would with locations. So let's say we want to put LDS calling and LDS callings together with LDS church callings. So I would say combine those two with this one. And it's done.
Now, where did you do that combine again?
Right down here at the bottom of the screen is the combine. Let's do
combined. Okay.
Yeah, let's do another one. Here's LDS mission.
And mission.
There's going to be a lot of those. There's 187 of those. And let's look at LDS mission call. There's only one of those. So what we could do is combine mission call with mission. Let's take mission call. See, it says combine the highlighted event with another one. And then it says highlight the destination. So I highlight LDS mission, come back here and click on the highlight destination and click this button. So those two have been combined. Here's several more that refer to the same thing. We got a farewell, we got a release. Now, it's interesting to note that in the date field, all of the dates in Legacy are capable of storing a range of dates. So you can say an LDS mission went from March the 1st, 2000 to March the 1st, 2002. So it's a range of dates that they were on the mission. It tells you when they started and when they ended.
So that means we can delete the farewell and the release items.
Yeah, and then in the mission event itself, you could give the details of when their farewell. Maybe you want to list who spoke at the farewell and things like that. Maybe you want to list some of the people that came to see them off at the airport or whatever you want to do. So all of that's part of the mission. Same thing with the release. It's part of the mission.
So let's combine those release and the farewell with the mission.
Yeah, let's take a look at how they're used. Here's a mission farewell. So it's been done on Trevor Price. Let's go to his record and edit that.
Yeah, we may have to fix some things.
See, there's Trevor Price. He's got an LDS. This is a good example of the ordinations, but there's a bad one. Anyway, LDS ordinations. And for example, let's go back up and look at those while we got them. So we got here's an ordination as a deacon. Here's an ordination to a teacher. Here's an ordination to a priest. And here's an ordination to an elder.
Now we won't lose those descriptions when we do the combining, right?
Yeah. Here's that mission farewell. There's no reason for that to be in there. That should be part of this LDS mission. So if we went into LDS mission, edit that one. Right in here in the notes, we could have put that his farewell was such and such. And these people came from Missouri to attend the farewell and so forth. Whatever you want to have, that's all part of the mission. So that's how to do mission. Again, the date he returned. So if I was going to put there's return date as part of his mission, let's just fix that one. So here's his mission. Started 21 February 2001, and he returned February in 2003. So I'm going to edit the mission, and I'm going to say from to February 2003. Now, it would be nice if I knew the date that he came back, but I don't have that.
Right.
And then when I say that, you can see this date. It went from there to there. And that's a valid date. Then I can get rid of this one. So I can say option, delete that event.
There was only one of them in the file.
Yeah. So that's how you can fix those. And you're going to find there's tons of them in here. Let's look at LDS mission president, for example. That one's for Bradley Dwayne Foster. but it probably lists the time that he was called to be a mission president. And we've got lots of other people that are mission presidents and have been mission presidents all over the world. Temple ordinance workers. There's all kinds of things that can go in here, but we don't need a separate event for every little thing. Most of those can fit under LDS calling or LDS ordination. Okay, so there's a lot of others. I'm just kind of click down on the list. Here's membership.
Hey, you're not in LDS there.
No, I'm showing you that these are not set right.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's right.
These are in different parts of the event definitions table, but they shouldn't be like this. These need to be combined with the LDS event. So we got membership. There's one of them. We got membership in the LDS church. There's just one. But see, it tells me that some of our member families are putting these things in and not realizing that there's regular events for LDS events. Here's an event where they met LeGrand Ellis. Interesting. So the day they met, when they were starting to date, I guess, I don't know what it is, but that's an event that they put in. Here's some military ones that obviously are not LDS, but they're same thing. Here's another mission president. That one's for the same guy. Let's combine that one. That'll be a good example. So I'm going to take mission president. I'm going to combine it with LDS mission president, just for now, and say combine. So now that one's fixed. If I look back down there under mission, see, it's not there anymore because I've combined it.
Mm-hmm.
Here's another obvious one: a name change, a namesake. These are interesting events that somebody's created. So I don't know what those are for. A name change. Got 3 people with a name change. I don't know what they are.
They could be like an AKA, also known as, right?
Yeah, but they're in the wrong place. We have a specific place for alias names or AKA names or nicknames or whatever you want to call it. So here's a nickname. Somebody put in a nickname event. No, that's not an event. That should be part of the other table. Here's a not married event. I don't know what that one is, but that's not where it goes. It's not in the events table. And of course you got a note. And again, that note is not an event, but it's in here. And notes with a plural, again, shouldn't be in here. So we got all kinds of events that are in the table, but they shouldn't be. Obituary is an event. You could easily make obituary an event. Let's see how many we got. There's 47 obituaries in here. So those you could make into an event if you wanted to. Not necessary. There's some ordinance and ordination. I bet you those are LDS. There's a couple of them there and one there. So those are just stray events that have come in from somebody else's file that didn't realize that we had defined all of the LDS ordinances with LDS on the front of the word ordinance.
Could we put, well, we'll have to talk to our slicers about this further to help them to help the members. Yeah.
One of the things that I've been trying to get Legacy to do is in some of these tables, like the master event definition list, I would like to have the date that definition was added to the table, so that then you could sort the table based on the date added and see when the new event definitions were added. Then you could determine who did it, maybe even find out why they did it, and follow up on it. So as they add new event definitions for, say, an ordinance or an ordination, you can go back to that person and say, no, we're putting that under LDS ordination.
Okay, let's pause for a minute and look at our list that we had previously published. See if we need to do some refinements in that list, because I think that yes, yeah.
Yeah, this list was made from that event definition list that I was showing you in Legacy. And so, yeah, it needs to be cleaned up.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely needs to be cleaned up.
Okay. Should we just walk down that list, and so we change that a little bit as we're based on what you've just taught us?
Well,
I think we can fix a few of them right off.
It might take more time than what it's worth here online.
Okay.
But yeah, we need to clean it up and then maybe even give a better description of this point number 10 about the LDS events.
Okay, and we can maybe do one of the short Google Hangout explaining some of the things that we just talked about with the new list then.
Yeah, that would be excellent, especially as we describe how to do an LDS ordination. See that anyway.
Mm-hmm.
That one's not been in this list, and it should be.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. That would be
all right. Great. Let's go on to the next subject then. Okay.
All right.
We'll tell everybody, but we'll be back to you with an updated list and further guidance on another one of these hangouts in the near future. All right, let's go on to look at Legacy Family Tree and the new version that does the syncing with the sourcing. Okay, so Ron, if you want to bring up Legacy Family Tree, and I'll give you a name for you to march across with. Let's use Beth Taylor.
Okay.
And I will give you Beth's information. Okay.
So first thing we want to do is make sure we're on my toolbar.
Okay. Yes, I will give you the ID. Hang on, just a moment.
I'm going to go to name list and look her up, or else I'll put in the RIN number.
Oh.
You know the RIN number? I can look her up by name. What's her maiden name?
I'm having a little trouble with hearing you again, Ron.
I say, what is her maiden name?
Okay, her maiden name was Hobbs, Beth Hobbs.
Beth Hobbs, and
there you go.
There she is. So we'll select her.
Yes, and then
we've got a picture of her.
Yes, and then we're going to sync that
with Family Search.
Yes.
Or I'm sorry, with Family Tree. So what we're going to do is click on the arrows right over here. Those arrows will take us to the Legacy Family Search interface, and we logged in. If you've already logged in before, the login will do it automatically, like you just saw mine. And now it's opening up Legacy Family Search with that person. It sometimes takes a while for the church to get you logged in here. Here it comes. Okay, so as we log in, okay, you'll notice just for a brief.
Can you expand the screen just a bit so we can read it?
Yeah, I was going to point out just for half a second, it put up the message that it was updating the temple list. So every time you log into Family Tree with Family Search, the legacy program will try to determine if it's got all the latest temples in the temple list, and it will update that in the background. And in this case, it only took about a half a second. But anyway, so down here at the bottom is a little pedigree. It's got 3-generation pedigree of Beth Hobbs. It's got her parents and her grandparents. You can use that to navigate in this thing. So I could actually click on her father, George Lloyd Hobbs, and it would go straight to him.
I want to, and that's where we're going to work, is we're going to work on Lloyd Hobbs to talk about the problem. Okay,
even
George
better.
Lloyd Hobbs.
So we'll go to him in a second, but I could also navigate to him with this list up here. This is a list of all the people in your legacy file. So I can come down here and find George Lloyd Hobbs.
I don't believe he's in the, well, he may be.
He's right there.
Okay.
And if you noticed, it changed the pedigree to him, and now it's searching for him on Family Tree. It says it's retrieving, and there he is. Okay, so what we have on the left-hand side is the person in our legacy database. On the right-hand side is the person that matches that in Family Tree. Okay?
Great. Yeah, that's wonderful. Now the issue is looking at some of the sourcing information associated with George Hobbs that I thought that we'd like to talk about some concerns. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's look at if you can expand that just a bit.
I can take off this left panel.
Yes. Can you make it just a little bigger?
Let me try. I haven't done it on this screen, but we should be able to. That's a good question. Let's try to windowize it, and then we'll see if it can expand. No, I'm not sure how to expand that window.
Okay, well then let me just talk about a couple of the issues that I saw in that. Okay.
Okay.
When you look at it, you will see that there was a picture in the sources that says that there's a picture of George Lloyd Hobbs with his grandson Gordon Taylor in 1942.
Back in Legacy, you mean?
No, in Family Search.
Oh, in Family Search. Let's go to that person in Family Search and we'll see what's going on.
Again, George Lloyd Hobbs or Lloyd Hobbs.
Did you see where I clicked? So here was the Legacy Family Search interface. If you click right here on that blue link, that will go to that person in Family Tree. So right now it's going over to that person. So first thing it wants to do is sign in. And then if I was already signed in on a separate window to Family Tree, then it wouldn't have stopped here. It would have gone straight into his record. Here we go. So there's George Lloyd Hobbs.
Okay, go down to the sources.
There's a picture of him up at the top. Here's the sources.
Okay, there is a little world there that says George Hobbs, Pioneer Boy Remembered. This is a legacy story account of his early life in Nephi, Utah.
Yeah.
And that can be brought across to legacy. But when you do that, it wants to attach it to either his name, his birth date, or his death date, or his burial date, none of which is exactly correct. This is a media piece of information that should have been separately connected to media associated with him, which Legacy apparently cannot do.
No, Legacy can do it. It's the church interface that can't do it.
Ah.
The church has written what they call APIs.
Right.
An API is an application program interface. Okay? The only way that you can talk to the church file is if you call their API. So if you want to search the church database, you call an API that does the search for you, and then it returns the results. If you want to pull a source from the church file, you call an API that the church wrote, and then they provide whatever it is that the API is capable of. So it's not a limitation of Legacy or Roots Magic or Ancestral Quest. It's a limitation of the API that the church wrote to do that function. Let's look back over at Legacy Family Search and let's show how to pull that. With the current method, let's show how to pull that into Legacy. So where would you like to start? Do you want to do it as a fact? Because they're not showing it as a fact.
Well, this is, I guess you would say that this is a storied event because it is a group of stories, short stories about his life in Nephi, Utah. Or you could put it as an event called Life in Nephi, Utah.
What I'm saying is, where is it on the church side that I can pull that?
It's in the sources.
I don't see sources on this list. All I have is the personal data, facts and events. That's where it should be. I see family relationships and ordinances. I don't see sources.
Wow, I saw this. I have it. I saw it on mine.
Are we talking about the same thing here?
Yeah, we should be talking about sources of the. Do you see? And there's also pictures. I
don't see them on George Lloyd Hobbs.
Is there any way that you can scale down on that frame that you're looking at?
There's no scroll bars. It's showing everything that's available.
Wow.
And this is definitely the latest version.
Well, yes, that's what I was looking at yesterday. Okay, well, we'll have, maybe we talk about that later offline. Then let's talk about how you propose that we would do it with the Legacy Family Tree, and then we'll come back to that offline.
All right. So back in Legacy Family Tree. In Legacy Family Tree, the media can be attached to anything. You can put it on the person or on an event or a location or an address or any of the special events, like, for example, you could put sources on any one of these: birth, death, burial, christening. You can put sources on any of these events down here.
Ron, I know how I got to that. If you go back into that LDS sync page,
okay,
and there's a tab at the top of the.
Oh, you're talking about this source tab. Okay.
Yes. Click.
So here's sources. It's getting ready.
Click on that one. Okay, there you go.
So here's all the legacy sources, and here's all the church sources. So here's, was this the one we were talking about? G. Lloyd Hobbs, Pioneer Boy Remembers.
Correct.
Okay, so if we wanted to pull that one into our file, we can click on this arrow right here. Okay, here's the source title, and there's the link to it. Series of stories about so forth. And then over here on the right-hand side, this tells you where it can be attached in Legacy. And this is what you were referring to. So if I want to attach it to the person, or what they call the unspecified area, that one actually means that it's connected to George Lloyd Hobbs in an unspecified method. So it's not connected to a specific event. It's just in general connected to his record. And then you could also connect it to his name, birth, death, or burial. I suspect that christening would have shown up here if the christening fields were populated in Legacy. What I don't understand is why the church can't make it so that you could attach that to events down here. So you could have an event called an autobiography and attach that to that event. That would be ideal, but it's not there yet.
Okay. So what we recommend then is that they don't move some of those what it's called in Family Search mementos. The picture did the same thing when I clicked on the picture.
Let's try it out. First of all, I'm going to attach this source to the person in Legacy. So I checked person, say okay, and there you got it. See it right there?
It's there. You're right.
Let's do a picture. Can you see any of these that have a picture on it?
There's one that says George Lloyd Hobbs and his grandson Gordon Taylor in 1942. If you look there, you'll see that.
Oh, the last one, Lloyd with grandson Gordon Taylor. So let's go pull that one. And that one we can connect again to the person. And let's pull it across. There it is, Lloyd with grandson Gordon Taylor. Okay, let's go see what effect that had on our file. So I'm gonna close out of Legacy Family Search.
Before you leave that, there's other interesting and exciting things that this does that we ought to talk about.
Yeah, I'm trying to. We got to go up here to George Lloyd. Okay, so under George Lloyd, let's look at his events now. We got alternate death and burial. Those are not the ones we're looking for. What we're looking for is the unspecified event. I wonder where they even show up. Now you've got me curious.
That's why I thought we would start this little forum.
Well, let's look under sources. See, here they are right here. There's that one that was just made, George Lloyd Hobbs. And if we edit the detail on that one, this is what was posted. There's no media with it. Let's go look at the other one and see if it brought the media over. So here's this other one. No media on that one. Where did it put the media? Interesting.
That's a good question.
Let's edit the source itself. Was not found. Template's been changed. Interesting. No media on that one either. There was something there though. Let's take a look at that. It said Family Search DL. Probably stands for download. So that's just the general source. It should have been in the detail. Should have been right here. Lloyd with grandson, and it's got a link. We shouldn't have to click to go to the link, but maybe we do. This is an area that I haven't really worked on too much, so I'm not sure where the picture's stored other than this link.
Well, this is one of those things that I think we can investigate and tell our members about what's going on with this syncing process. If you want to go back to that source, comparison on the source thing, I wanted to share another exciting thing that Legacy does with them.
All right, I'm just looking at that one, at the actual link. Let's see if it brings up the picture. So I took the link out of the Legacy, and there's Legacy Stories. And let's see if it brings up your.
It should work.
It's working on something. It really takes it a long time to load.
There's about 25 stories.
Yeah. It says it has 47 views. I don't know if that means that's how many people have looked at it, or if that's how many pages are on it. I suspect it's the number of people that have viewed this story. Well, that's interesting. Let's try going to the right.
There it is. It's coming up now.
So it's got pictures in it, but I'm not seeing them full screen here. So it's got all the pictures in there. It's not showing it full screen like I would think it would. Oh, here we go. No, I don't think it's going to do it.
We'll have to play with that.
We need to play with that and find out how to show the big pictures.
Sure. All right. Well, if you go back to that sourcing slice page that with the dual screen there.
There's some slideshows that says member slideshows.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's.
I don't think that's what we're looking for either.
No. Nope. Okay.
Those aren't your pictures, are they?
No.
They're just
other stories. Let's go back into Legacy.
Okay. Here we are back in Legacy. Let's close out those sources.
Yep.
Okay.
Go into the source. Go back to where we were with that George Lloyd Hobbs with the sources.
Back to the Legacy Family Search.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So here's our link back to Family Search on George Hobbs.
Okay, are we into sources?
And we'll go to the Sources tab.
Not there yet.
There it comes. Okay, so now we got it open.
Did you see those little yellow dots there off to the right? When you move the information into your Legacy family tree, it will attach them into each of those file categories. Do you want to report what those categories are as you can see them, Ron?
Yeah, it just says name, gender, birth, christening, death, and burial.
So that suggests that if they had the christening, it would attach it to a christening. We need to check that versus our LDS event.
Yeah, like if you wanted this one, this Find a Grave, let's look at that one, see how it's got name, birth, and burial. If we click on this I over here, it shows you those three fields that are checked that are causing the green spots. So you could tell it to attach that to the death the same way. See that? So that's the source coming off family tree, and this, anyway, so you could change the source. And that one's probably that's probably one that you would want to change to attach it to the death also. Let's see.
It works wonderful. You just move it across to the other side, and when you go into each one of those events, it's there. It's moved as that single source into multiple events.
Yeah, see how we just changed that to apply to the death? So find a grave applies now to the death, burial, birth, and name. So if we pull that event over here, we don't have it already. Let's go ahead and grab that one. So there's find a grave, and we want to apply that to the, let's apply it to our name, birth and death and burial. Okay. There it is right here. So it applied to burial. There's the birth. And the name should be right there somewhere. There it is. So it applied that source to all of those fields.
So this is something that our slicers can do now.
Yes,
I guess I would recommend that they go in with at least wherever you can do name, birth, death, and burial,
yeah,
and move those sources across to the legacy files.
Yeah, if they're sources that we that are good sources, so most of these look like pretty good ones. Yeah, there's some good sources in here. Like the United States Census 1930, we've already got that one sourced. This is a better source that we've got in our database. We've got it by Utah, Juab, Nephi in 1930 census, whereas over here in Family Tree, all they have is Lloyd Hobbs, United States Census 1930. I don't think it tells you where it is or anything. Let's go ahead and grab that one for, let's tell it that that one applies to his name, his gender, his birth. That should be the only stuff that's connected to him. Come on, it's so slow. Okay, so there's the 1930s. See, it put it at the top. Name, gender, and birth. Let's pull that one into our file. And I think that this is a flaw. I think that it should have used those 3 green dots to fill in these over here. It should automatically fill in name, birth, and gender is not even one of them. So there we go. Now we've got, there it is on his name, and there it is on his birth date. Let's go see how those show up in Legacy. So I'm going to close out of Family Search. Here we are back in Legacy. Let's see how those events look. So it didn't put them in the events here, but it put them in the sources. So here's sources. Scroll this back up a little bit. There's his name source. And see, it doesn't even put the location or anything. All it puts is Family Search. So there's Family Search for, who knows what that's for. Let's edit the detail on that one. That's the Find a Grave. And then this second one, that one is the 1930 census. But see how poor the source is written? The source just says Lloyd Hobbs, United States Census 1930. Doesn't tell you where it was or anything. Let's look at their link and see what it shows. So I'm going to copy that and go to my browser, and I'm going to say, search, I'm going to look for that link. Let's see what it shows. So it brings up that record on Family Search. That one does show the location. And it shows some of the entries that were on his record. So yeah, the functionality is coming, but it's not very well written. Just go back and look at that, what I was talking about here. So here's the sources. You can see when you look at the name source, this one is far more meaningful than just saying Family Search. This one tells you that he was on the Utah, Juab County, Nephi City, 1920 U.S. Census. And he's on the 1930 census, 1940 census, same location. Whereas this doesn't tell you anything when you look at it.
Now, I assume that we can go from legacy back over to the LDS one. I did not try that, Ron.
Yeah, we can apply this source to George Hobbs. Let's do that. That'll be more fun. Okay, so we know we have sources. We'll go over to the legacy family tree.
I thought you might enjoy playing with this, Ron.
Yeah, definitely. And these are some of the difficulties that our people are going to have. So here's George Lloyd Hobbs again. And here's the sources. Come on. Okay, we got the 18 sources still. Come on, open up. I'm going to count these over here. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16, 17. So the 18 sources refers to what the church has. We have a lot more than 18 in our file. Let's take this Utah, Juab, Nephi, and let's put that one on the church file under name, gender, and birth. The web page, we could fill that in if we wanted to. Let's go look at our record, because I don't know if we've got that kind of stuff in our sources. So here's the 1920. Let's edit the detail. See right there, we could put the link to the page if we wanted to. But in this case of a census, we've already told them where it is. It's in that census for that city and county, state. So we could make 100 source citations with the method I'm showing you in the same amount of time it would take you to make one entry with the church method. Now the church method might be more thorough, but with the age of computers, we're not looking at stuff manually anymore. We're letting the computer show us all this information. So to tell the computer to look at a certain year, city, county, state in the census, it can do that almost instantly. Whereas to go and look that stuff up manually would take you quite a few minutes.
So yeah, to do.
So
well, I thought our members would be interested in knowing that this new capability, as they've been looking for it for some time now, but
yeah.
in this revision from in Legacy Family Tree to be able to do this. So we'll put out a little note to tell them that they can do it, and but caution with regard to media. But with regard to the data, it looks like they can move it across back and forth. But again, it's somewhat limited, but there it is.
So I just uploaded that source. Let's see how it shows up over here. See it right there? And it knows that it was done by name, gender, and birth. Much easier to see what and that's how it shows on their record. And if they wanted to tack in the web page, they could do it right there. Let's look at anyway, those are the sources now. If we went and looked at him on
Family Search.
On Family Search. Let's go back to share data. Let's go to Family Search on him. This time we're already logged in. Let's go down to sources and we'll see what. Do you see that right there?
There it is. So
that's what it would show. And if we wanted to, and it shows my name and stuff on it. If we wanted it to have the actual web page, we could have put that in there. So other than census records, you probably do want the actual web page.
Well, great. Well, thank you, Ron. Let's conclude the broadcast for now, and appreciate it. Hopefully this can be of use to some of our members. We'll refine some of these ideas that we've talked about and maybe get on with some shorter webinars dealing with specific facts as we continue the development. Thank you very much, Ron.
That was good.